Hi, this is Hamsika, and welcome to Stories with Swansea Presents The Real Deal, where we discuss and dissect everyday situations that influence and shape our lives. Whether it's the unspoken impacts of generational trauma, challenging the expectations of society, or exploring practical ways to bring more peace, balance, and joy into our daily existence. We share stories and lived experiences that are raw, heartfelt, and will leave you with questions. So, if you're looking for a podcast that feels like chatting with a friend about the real, relatable parts of life, you have come to the right place. Let's cut through the noise and get straight to the matter with no filters and sugarcoating. Because this isn't a fictional deal, it is the real deal. If you're wondering why I'm still sitting like this, it's because it's so cold, guys. I hate winters. It's so windy out there. It's raining like crazy. It's just super cold. And as I mentioned in one of my earlier episodes, I cannot switch on the heater because of the sound, because of the noise that it creates, and editing is going to be really hard for me. So I have to go through this so I can get the audio, the audio file well and correct for my Spotify. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about identifying bullies and abusers. Now, the funny thing is, I had not heard of these words or even understood what they mean until I actually moved to Australia. And that's a fact. When you're going through certain things, you know it's not right, but you don't know what you're going through. It's like you don't know the terminology. So for me, it's the same. It's exactly what it is for going through bullying and abuses. Luckily, I haven't been through physical abuse, but I have been through a lot of verbal abuse, which of course affected me like so much mentally. And today we are going to talk about some of those things, and I will be sharing a few stories, few experiences that I've had, and which has left so much impact. And we will also, um, talk about identifying these bullies or abusers. So if I have to start with sharing my experience, it goes back to my school days where one or like two, three persons insecurity and kind of obsessive behaviors led to a whole um like an year of abuse for me. It continued until my 11th and my 12th grade, and it was ridiculous, to a point where every day after school, every day after my college, I would just come home and just cry. Probably, especially in my like 10th grade, there probably hasn't been a day where I have not cried, regardless of how I show up in the school, regardless of how I look for my friends and family. Every single day I have cried. If I open my personal diary, literally so many pages of my personal diary has these teardrops. You know how it makes the paper crumbly? There are so many pages like that. I never understood I was going through a lot of verbal abuse at that time. I knew things were not right. Like, I knew this shouldn't have happened. But, like, did I have the guts to go tell anyone? Did I have the courage to stand up for myself? No, again. Like, so many of these things are just like interlinked. Every day I would discover something new about me, something that is not true. You know how these trolls sometimes make up random things about people, and then just it gets circulated everywhere, and there's a false information being spread everywhere. That is exactly what happened with me back when I was in grade 10. The amount of lies that were circulating about me, about like a lot of aspects related to me, and even including a lot about my family, it was just not good. It was too bad, to a point where I felt like, do I even have to be alive to go through this shit? Please excuse me for my usage, but that was my mindset back then. And if you have read my previous blog post, you know that I am one of those suicide attempt survivors, and I survived that attempt that I did because I had enough of the bullshit that was going around me. It was too much to handle. It was too much to handle. I don't know how people like go to sleep peacefully when they know they have destroyed someone else's life. How they can be so casual about everything, even with the person whose life was destroyed by them. People who I trusted so much, who were literally my friends, who I shared a lot of my things, they were the ones who destroyed me. Like to a point where I ended up, attempting to harm myself so badly, to kill myself, to be like, upfront. I gave the entire power to them to destroy my life, to destroy my peace, my happiness, my everything. And the funny thing is, like some of um, my school people, I mean, majority of them would not even understand what I'm talking about, but those who know what I'm talking about will know what I'm trying to say here. Some of them have forgotten that this whole episode even happened. Everybody just like, moves ahead, including the person who even was responsible for this whole thing. But I'm the one who suffered for the longest time. I would have nightmares about some of the experiences that I've had. And I was being bullied so badly. People had said some ridiculous things about me, and I would have nightmares about them. Like, I had gone to a point where I don't love myself. I never loved myself anyway, but even the little bit of whatever I had, even that was gone. Like, in turn, I started hating myself so much because I was getting carried away with all the things that they were saying about me. And not once did I stand up, like, for my own good. I was just so, like, pushed, like, stamped to the ground. Not literally, like, physically, but I'm just saying. It's very, very hurtful. It's too much to go through. I know a lot of, like, students now, they go through this high school abuse and, some of, like, if not physical, definitely verbal and mental abuse. They go through so much bullying to a point where they don't even want to go to the school. I was in the same state back then. I just didn't want to go to the school. There were a few, incidents where some of my seniors had um, called me an ugly duckling because, of course, I was not good looking or fair or whatever compared to the popular girls at that time. And till date, it is in my memory. There have been so many good memories with my school days. There have been so many good memories with my college, uni, or whatever in my life. But then there are some of these incidents that I just cannot let go. It's not like I'm holding on to them or I have a grudge against that person. I have moved on, but that doesn't mean that I've forgotten the incidences. I might have forgiven the person and I would have done that for my own peace, but I cannot forget the incident, right? Because that led to so much trouble for me in the later years. Everything that you go through shapes you for the person that you are. And when you have had back to back bad experiences, it shapes you to be a person who is so low on confidence, on self esteem, who doesn't love herself anymore, who always, thinks that she doesn't deserve anything big happening in her life. It leads to a lot of real time crisis. People who do whatever they do, they just do it and they move on. They don't know what harm they have caused the other person. They don't know how much they have destroyed their life. I so wish, all these concepts of ragging in the college, when it crosses a certain point, then that's it. That person's life is gone. It's very, very sad, but that's the reality. Not everyone thinks of, like, I don't know what people try to project when they do whatever they do, because this is something that I have never done. I haven't gone and dragged any of my junior. No way. I've been dragged back by my juniors. Forget about me going and doing anything to them. Some people just sit back and say, "Oh, why are you holding on to things from so long?" I get asked that so many times. But something somewhere similar happens, and this thing triggers in your mind, and you're like, "Oh my god, I went through this." And it's not like you're sitting and cribbing. You're just sharing that you went through this, and then all you get is, "But who cares? That was long back. Why are you holding on to it?" Of course, I'm going to hold on to it because that was the impact it had on me. I recently shared a post on my Instagram. It was a beautiful quote. It said, "Stop asking people to, get over some of the experiences and incidents that they've had. Trauma takes its own time to heal. For you, it might be the smallest of things, not for me. That small thing for me might be really big. So anyone who, like, if you're someone who goes and tells other people that you have to like get over this, or like, you get irritated when they try to share something with you, stop it. Don't do it. Maybe you did it without any knowledge, but if you know now, just stop doing it. Don't ask them to get over it. It is not easy for everybody. Everyone's time taken to heal is different. And if I have to come back to, this bullying and abusing, it's very, very disturbing uh, to see some of the things that happen, like, in this age and generation. Like the amount of things that we read every day, in the news portals or the community groups, be it here or be it back home, be it in any country. It's not like it happens only in one particular country. It happens everywhere in the world. No one is an exception. It happens everywhere. And it's extremely, extremely, disturbing. And the young parents, they go through so much because they themselves also would have experienced something like this bullying and stuff. They don't know how to stand up for themselves, and it's very difficult when your kid goes through the same thing. You already have a trauma that you have went through, and now you have a trauma that your kid is going through, and you are suffering because you cannot see your kid go through it. You can complain it to the authorities, you can complain it to the school management, you can, that person might even stop doing it after that. But whatever has happened in that kid's mind. It's going to sit there either for a few years, for a few months, for a few days, or for a lifetime. And you know the other thing that I've noticed is some of these things that kids pick up, especially with bullying and abusing. A lot of these kids, sometimes I feel sad for them because the atmosphere in which they would have grown up would have been similar. If you have not seen someone do it, how do you know? How do you pick it up? The kid would have seen it somewhere, right? It would have the kid would have seen some family member doing the same. They might be bullying the other person. They might be abusing the other person. They might be physically hurting the other person. There's so many cases of domestic violence. And kids who like live through these experiences, oh my god, it's my heart goes to them, honestly. It might be any kind of abuse. If you're seeing your um, parents go through this abusive relationship, be it physical, mental, verbal, whatever it is very disturbing as a child. It is very disturbing as an adult. It is going to be extremely, traumatic for you. It's not important to just bring kids into this world. You have to give them a world that they deserve to live in. And if you just decide to have a kid in a house that is filled with abusers, like people who bully, the kid is going to like grow up to become one, because that's all they know, that's all they see day in and day out. For them, it is not like this is like the concept of a villain, right? Having a villain in a movie. For the villain, he knows that he's not wrong. For the audience, we know that the villain is wrong, but for villain, he cannot think that he's a bad person. Whatever he is doing is right, but morally, like for us, it is not right. It's the same thing for kids who grow up in such environments. All they know is like you have to raise your voice, you have to probably hit the other person to get your work done, you have to kick them, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's very, very disturbing. Those kids who actually undergo that bullying, some of them very good, they come, they tell their parents everything, and they are strong individuals who get over it and who then advocate for the same. So they help other people also get over it. So I've seen that happen as well. But not everyone, can actually do it. Like for me, I was never able to do it. I know a lot of other people who were in a similar phase who were never able to do it. In a lot of scenarios, when you confront with people who actually, are bullying someone or are abusing someone, most of the reasons somehow they fall under this, this huge bracket of being insecure about the other person, or trying to show that you're the dominant personality here. The sadistic pleasure some of them get by making others go through hell is something I can never comprehend. Like I would never be able to do it. I don't know how people do it. Like in front of your eyes, you can see a person is suffering, And how do you ensure that they suffer more? It's like putting like that additional oil into the lamp so it burns. It's very hard to say you have to do this, and then this won't happen. There is no guarantee that it won't happen. Everyone will go through this in their school life, in their college life, in their uni life, or in some way or the other throughout their life. How do you abolish it completely? I don't know if there is even a possibility like that. I don't know. Like, I feel so blank. Like, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm actually like thinking in my head if there can be like a permanent solution to this. The school might put any kind of measure, but those who have to break are going to break anyway. So unless we are equipped to handle it, you cannot stop the abusers from abusing. You cannot stop the, like the people who bully, the bullies from bullying. You have to give it back. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to go complain, like whatever the situation is. If you're at a workplace, you have to go to your HR. If you're in a uni, you have to go to your, I don't know, head of department. If you're in the school, you have to go to your principal or headmaster or headmistress. Like anyone who is in that authoritative position who can take decisions, you have to bring it to their notice and you have to give it back. You have to stand up. I so wish I had done that. I so wish I had made people shut their mouths and not speak, so many bad things about me. I discovered so many things about that whole incident that I went through years later as well. Like, so many people are saying so many different things. I don't know if all of it is true, or maybe all of it is true. And if it is true, it is so sad. Like, I was being portrayed as a version of me that never existed back then, or doesn't exist even now. I guess I got too carried away. Oh my god, this happens pretty much, I guess, for every episode because a lot of it touch back to a part of my life that has been super duper traumatic. So somehow I get all those emotions out. So the reason why I'm sharing, like, the stories, the experiences that I have lived is because if you relate to this, you know what you went through. If you're one of those people who didn't know that you went through an abuse, now you know. If you have gone through a similar phase, now you know. Character assassination is fun for a lot of people, but not for everybody else. The person who goes through it, they pay the price for it. Because of your stupidity, because of your insecurity, you cannot destroy a person's character. It's everything for them. And for me, that was my experience. That was what happened with me. It's very easy to say don't care about others. At that point, when you're in your prime teenage phase, would you ever, not care about what other people think of you? I've had people like laugh at me, mock me, like put me down so badly. I don't even know how I tolerated all these nonsense. I don't know. It's beyond my imagination how they do it. It's beyond my imagination. I'm sorry there are a lot of pauses in this episode. It's because as I'm speaking, I'm also, holding on to a lot of emotions because because this is a very personal experience. It's not easy to share everything. And I'm trying my best to uh, highlight some of the things because if you have gone through the same, please know and understand what you have gone through. You have to, and if you are in touch with the person still, and if you are in contact with the person still, you probably have to think back about your choices. Or you have to, if you're not in contact or whatever, if you understand what you have gone through, you're going to be careful for the next time. Right? And I really, really request everybody listening to this to reflect back on their experiences of what you have had. If you see a pattern, if you see that a person is constantly trying to put you down, regardless of what you do, that's the biggest red flag. There was a very beautiful movie called Thappad. I think it was Tapsi Pannu, in which her life takes a pause the moment she gets slapped by her husband. And he says, just get over it. It's just one slap. Why are you dragging it so much? And For her, it's like even that one slap matters. You have no rights to physically abuse me. No one has any rights to physically abuse anyone. Just because you're a married couple doesn't mean you can raise hand on your partner. It's just not okay. Your kids are going to look at what you're doing. They're going to become a version of you, whether you like it or not. It is such a massive responsibility. And even if you don't have kids, what, like, if it's just you and your partner, it's still not okay you to raise a hand on your partner. Who gave you the authority? There are so many cases like this that happen. Domestic violence is on next level in any country for that matter. In India, it is even more because of the population, the billion population that we have. The number of cases are, of course, more. I don't know where this topic is going to lead. I don't even know how to end this episode because I just got like too carried away. But I didn't want to um, hide some of these raw emotions because they're real. And if I'm talking to a friend or someone about the same topic, this is how I also get carried away in those conversations. So I'm not going to stop recording or not post it because of this reason. I've named my show The Real Deal because this is a real deal. There are conversations like this which you don't want to have, but you still like also want to make sure that you have because you know that someone somewhere might connect. As I've been mentioning in my episodes, for me, my goal is to have a small little community of my own where people are going to feel safe and they can open up with their experiences. I was struggling to find it when I was going through depression. I needed that space where I could, just talk about a lot of things and feel that there are other people who have gone through the same. And, you just need to feel connected. You just need to feel relatable. You shouldn't feel like you're the only one going through this. That supportive community matters so much. That's why I'm putting it out there, all my raw emotions, all these pauses. So, like, you guys can know how much it takes to open up about a lot of things like from your life. My brand is Stories with Swanchi because I want to share the stories that I've lived through, that I've experienced, only so I can form a community, only so I can, find people who can relate to the same thing and who can know and understand that they are not alone. That's all I wanted when I was going through that tough phase. I just wanted to like feel that I'm not alone in this battle. I wanted to feel that I'm relatable. I'm connected to somewhere, somehow, and I'm not alone. Only people who have lived through those moments, they can understand what I'm trying to say. It's so it's so like important to like understand and believe that you're not alone, because the moment it hits you that you are alone, you're the only one going through this or whatever it is, that is where a lot of wrong decisions happen, one of which is of course killing yourself. Please ensure people around you that they're not alone. It matters a lot. Everybody, not even one person is exempt from this. Everybody is going through something in their life. All it takes is a little bit of kindness. Just give them their space. Don't um like I know a lot of my people who are going through a tough phase. I check on them. If I don't get a response, I don't keep calling one. Like, I know what it takes. I know it takes so much effort to even get up and send a message back. That the phase of depression, any mental health issue for that matter, condition for that matter, it takes a lot. So you're hearing from a person who has lived through it. So even if you haven't had that experience, just know that it's very difficult for the other person to even function, let alone share things or whatever it is. Even the waking up in the morning and probably brushing your teeth, even that seems so such like a daunting task. Oh my god, do I have to get up? Do I have to get out of the bed? Do I have to go and brush my teeth? Do I have to eat? Do I have to get ready? Do I have to take a shower? Everything is difficult. And all these aspects of what they would have gone through makes the trauma even worse. Anyway, I don't want to continue more on this because I don't think I'm prepared for a lot of, breakdown on stuff. But if you felt connected with today's episode, please get in touch. Please let me know, if you cannot speak to me or share me your experiences in your comments, please do send me a direct message, or just get in touch. Just get in touch on my Instagram profile or my Facebook profile or whatever, and please let me know what you feel like sharing, and please do share. um so to anyone who has gone through bullying and abuse, my thoughts are with you. You're stronger than you think you are, and you're not alone. So with this note, I'm going to end today's episode. I will meet you guys in another powerful episode next week. See you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It truly means a lot to me to know that there are supportive listeners out there who appreciate the sharing of relatable thoughts and experiences. If you liked and related to what you listened to today, let me know in the comments. And also, please support by following, rating, and sharing the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. The related links are all in the description. Let's have a chat again next week. Until then, please make sure to take care of yourself so you can take care of others.